Hi everyone, it's Kristen from k.becca, and today I'll be showing you how to make this fun faceted heart magnet. So let's get started. We're going to start this project in Silhouette Studio. I've opened the faceted heart ornament die cut that you can find in my shop at k.becca.com or over in my shop at Silhouette. I'll have the links where you can find them in the area below the video. We have a few options with this file. In the lower left, there's a print and cut version of the ornament. You can ungroup that and recolor it however you like. Today we'll be using the heart ornament base at the top right and the non-ornament cut file at the lower right. First, I'm going to ungroup these elements by opening the Object menu and choosing Ungroup. You could also press Ctrl or Command plus Shift plus G to do this. You'll see that after I ungroup the elements, they become 4 separate elements with boxes around them. I click on the artboard to deselect everything, and then I choose the top right element and press Shift and click to select the bottom right element as well. After that, I press Ctrl or Command plus C to copy the elements, and I'll paste them into a blank document by pressing Ctrl or Command plus V. Then I'll select both shapes and ungroup them again. And you can see the boxes around all of the individual elements after I do that. You'll be able to move each of the facets of the heart around now too, which is helpful if you want to cut them from different paper colors or patterns. I won't need the hole for hanging the ornament since I'm making a magnet here, so I'm going to select that element and press backspace to delete it. I'm going to separate all of the facets of the heart just a little bit before I cut them from Strathmore Bristol paper. And I'm going to choose one of the facets and cut that from gold foil cardstock. So I'll copy that facet with Ctrl or Command plus C and paste it into a new document with Ctrl or Command plus V. Then I'll go back to the other document and delete that facet because I don't need to cut it twice. And I'll move a couple of those other facets into the blank area that was left when I deleted it, so I don't waste paper when I do the cutting. I'll be cutting the heart base from magnet paper, so I'm going to copy it into a new document. I find that having or grouping elements that I'm cutting from different materials into separate files helps prevent confusion when I'm doing the cutting. So that's why I'm separating these cut files into 3 different files. One for the Strathmore Bristol paper, one for the gold foil cardstock, and one for the magnet paper. After I paste the heart into the new document, I'll go back to the other file and delete it out. Then I'll select the heart facets and move them over to the top left of the artboard before cutting them. Now I'm going to cut all of the pieces. I'll cut the facets from Strathmore Bristol paper with Silhouette's suggested cut settings for cover stock, which are a blade depth of 7, a speed of 1, a thickness of 33, with a double cut. I'll use the same cut settings for the gold foil cardstock, and I'll use the Silhouette Adhesive Magnet Paper settings to cut the heart base. And those settings are a blade depth of 6, a speed of 1, a thickness of 33, and a double cut. Alright, so I've cut all of my pieces from the different materials, and now I'm ready to do a little watercoloring. I'll be using the Zig Clean Color Real brush pens in several colors, and I'll list all of the colors over on the side of the screen. And I'll be using a small round brush to paint. You'll notice that I have all of the heart facets laid out in the order that they are in the finished shape. I find that doing this makes it much easier to tell where each facet goes, and it speeds up the assembly process later. I've cut the heart base from Silhouette's Adhesive Magnet Paper, and this is really cool stuff. After it cuts, you tend to have to pop it out of the sheet, but in my experience, it always pops out quickly and cleanly. So I have my Zig Clean Color pens, a cup of clean water, and my brush, and I'm ready to start coloring the facets. I'm going to start with the top left facet and color that in with a peach pink Zig Clean Color pen on just the right side and the bottom of the shape. I want there to be some color variations across the piece, so it has a stronger watercolor effect. And the colors from these pens are so saturated and move so easily with water that this was all of the color that I needed to get the effect that I was going for. After I dip my brush in water, I'll dab off some of the excess water before applying it to the color. You really don't need a lot of water to get this color really moving, and I didn't want more water than I needed because I didn't want to have any puddles on my facets. But if you do get some puddling, you can just dab off the excess water with a paper towel. I also didn't want any of the color that got onto my craft mat to mix with the next color that I was using, so I wiped it off with a paper towel. Later on, you'll see that I also come in and clean up any leftover color with a wet baby wipe and dry the surface with a paper towel after to clean things up before moving on to the next color. I'll be coloring the facets from left to right in rainbow order, and after I'm finished coloring them, I'll leave them to dry completely before moving on to the next step. Alright, so it's been about an hour and all of the pieces are completely dry. The only thing left to do now is to adhere them to the magnet base. I'll remove the protective paper from the top of the magnet paper to reveal the adhesive, and then I'll adhere the first facet. I'm going with the orange piece at the top center of the heart, and then adding the rest of the pieces around it. This process actually goes pretty quickly. I was able to adhere all of the facets in probably under 5 minutes. And after all of the pieces are adhered, the magnet is finished. I think that these would make fun little gifts, or you could simply pop the magnet onto your fridge to help display coloring pages, reminders, or grocery lists. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you'd like to see more die cutting craft videos, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I hope you'll tune in again soon.